Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 9, K2. We are here to present about nitrogen and sulfur versus Mother Nature. First of all, let's look at our group member. Okay. First of all, we have Jin Wen and Ashraf Haris. And for the next, we have Nur Maisarah and myself, Iskandar Haikal.
Thank you, Iskandar, and good morning, sir. I'm Chiu Jingwen, and today I would like to talk about nitrogen oxide. Oxides of nitrogen NOx consist of nitric oxide NO, which is a colorless flammable gas with a slight odor, and also nitrogen dioxide NO2, which is a reddish-brown non-flammable gas with a detectable smell. Nitrogen dioxide is a strong oxidizing agent that reacts in the air to form corrosive nitric acid as well as toxic organic nitrates. It plays a major role in the atmospheric reactions that produce ground-level ozone or smoke. Next, let's look at natural occurrences of oxides of nitrogen. Nitric oxide produced naturally by bacterial volcanic action and lightning. In the atmosphere, nitric oxide mixes with water vapor producing nitric acid that cause acid rain. Carbon dioxide in the air dissolves in the water, and natural sources of sulfur and nitrogen emissions also contribute further to the acidity of rainwater. Moving on, let's look at man-made occurrences of nitrogen oxide. Man-made emissions are mainly due to fossil fuel combustion. The first one is stationary sources, for example, power generation and mobile sources. The second one is non-combustion processes, for example, nitric acid manufacture, welding processes, and the use of explosives. When fuels are burned in vehicle engines, nitrogen and oxygen in the air combine to form nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is released from the vehicle exhaust system and combine with the oxygen and produce nitrogen dioxide. Next, we look at the catalytic converter. It is a device used to reduce the emission from an internal combustion engine. Why we need to use catalytic converter? Because not enough oxygen is available to oxidize the carbon fuel in the engines. It is used in the exhaust system to provide a site for the oxidation and reduction of toxic byproducts of fuel into less hazardous substances. The reduction of nitrogen oxides into nitrogen and oxygen can be shown by the first equation here. Now, how does the catalytic converter works? Firstly, in the vehicle, combustion of car fuel produces nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, and other gases. These gases pass through oxidation and reduction catalyst here. At reduction catalyst, reduction of nitrogen dioxide to nitrogen gas and oxygen gas happen. Here we can see the honeycomb structure at the reduction catalyst. It is to minimize the use of catalyst, which is very expensive.
Okay, thank you, Jingwen. I'm Ashraf Haris, want to present about oxide of nitrogen and ecosystem. Now, what is nitrogen oxide pollutants? Nitrogen dioxide is an irritant gas which at high concentration causes inflammation of the airways. Nitrogen released during fuel combustion, it combines with oxygen atoms to create nitrogen oxide. Nitrogen oxide is not considered to be hazardous to health, but nitrogen dioxide can. Nitrogen oxide gases react to form smoke and acid rain as well as being central. Now, the impact of nitrogen on ecosystem. High levels of nitrogen oxide can have a negative effect on vegetation, including leaf damage and reduced growth. A study of the effect of nitrogen dioxide and ammonia, which is NH3, on the habitat. Nitrogen oxide also reacts with other pollutants in the presence of sunlight. Now, the NOx are processed. Number one, removal of nitrogen oxide, investing in people and the environment, and lastly is proven performance. Now let's go to oxide of nitrogen and ozone layer. Number one, nitrogen dioxide acts as a catalyst in the conversion of sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide. The nitrogen dioxide first oxidizes sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide. In the process, the nitrogen dioxide is reduced to nitrogen oxide. Nitrogen oxide is converted back to nitrogen dioxide, again by reaction with oxygen. Nitrogen dioxide is also mentioned in the teacher support material as contributing to the, to, to the formation of photochemical smoke. Lastly, ozone in smoke is hazardous to health and so are peroxia cetyl nitrics. Okay, now that's all from me. Let's go to my Sarah.
Thank you, Ashraf. I'm Maisara. I will present about fossil fuels and sulfur dioxide. First thing first, you should know what is fossil fuels. Fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is any of a class of hydrocarbon that containing materials of biological origin occurring within Earth's crust. Okay. It can be used as a source of energy. It also a non-renewable source energy. In fossil fuels, they were natural gas, coal, and crude oil. Second thing is, what is sulfur dioxide? Sulfur dioxide is a colorless gas with irritating and pungent odor. Sulfur dioxide is used in many industries. It's used to manufacture sulfuric acid, paper, and food preservative. Sulfur dioxide is the most dangerous gas that can reacting with moist air and then transform into sulfuric acid, which is acid rain. Next is how sulfuric acid be formed. Okay. Sulfur dioxide react with oxygen in air and sulfur dioxide be formed. Okay. Sulfur dioxide react with water and then sulfuric acid be formed. Okay. Next is you should know what is the relation between fossil fuels and sulfur. Sulfur responsible to make fossil fuel odorless. The sulfur oxidized to form sulfur dioxide. Gases from burning process of fossil fuel can make pollution to the environment. Gases like nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide is the example for air pollutant. Okay. Last but not least, you should know what the effects sulfur dioxide to the atmosphere. Sulfur dioxide reacts in the atmosphere to form aerosol particles that can contribute to haze. What is aerosol particle? Aerosol particle is 10 per 1 million of solid liquid droplets. Sulfur dioxide comes from burning fossil fuel process, and sulfur reacts with water vapor and other gases in the atmosphere to create sulfate aerosol.
Now let's have a look. How did acid rain happen? This is a diagram to show the flow how acid rain happen. First of all, the combustion will release the emission of sodium dioxide and nitrogen oxide are released into the air. When these harmful gases released into the air, this pollution will form acid particles that may be transported in a long distance in the form of cloud. Then, the acid particles that are collected will fall to the earth as wet and dry depositions such as dust, rain, snow, and etc. Then when the acid rain falls, this may cause harmful effect to the mother nature, and we call pollution and such awful thing to the nature. Next, there are certain problems occur due to the acid rain. Let's have a look. First of all, you have effects to the fish and wildlife. When the acid rain occur, the lake will become acidic and make it not suitable for habitat to live in it. For the human health, the acid rain, when being contact with the skin, a direct contact with the skin, it will cause an irritation and may cause skin cancer to the human. While on the building, when the acid rain is being contact with the building, the color of the building will become dull and faded. Last but not least, the effect to the plants and tree. When acid rain is being poured into the soil, the acidic from the rain will turn the soil into acidic and make the soil not suitable for plant growth. Now, there's a alternative way or prevention of acid rain to avoid this acid rain from happen. First of all, there are alternative fuels which you can use, and then we have transportation management, energy conservation, and last but not least, waste handling. Let's have a look. On the alternative fuels, we have non-renewable energy which we currently use. How about we use the renewable energy to replace the fossil fuels that we use today? The renewable energy such as solar energy and wind energy.